that's available to you for sure. So, all right. Also on the website, I posted on Monday my games of the week. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. So I stuffed in some extra picks for this week. We got 18 games in total. A lot of them are tonight. So if you haven't submitted your picks yet, be sure to follow that link in the description as well and submit yours before it's too late and games go final. So, uh, an update for you on PD versus the public. I am 10-4 thus far this season. That's through 2 weeks. You, the viewers, are 7-6-1. So be sure. I think there was one game there where it was an exact 50-50 split. I forget what game it was, but percentage-wise. So I couldn't give you a win and I couldn't give you a loss, so I just counted it as a tie. So 7-6-1. So be sure to play along and follow along all season. So, okay, let's get into some of the biggest matchups on the schedule this weekend, and I'm going to try and go quick. Wednesday, today, at the time of taping, biggest rivalry night of the year. Yes, that's right. Alumni back in town. Holiday break. Some teams are off. Good time to play your biggest rival leading into the extended weekend. I'm going to start things off here. Kalamazoo Eagles versus Kalamazoo United. KU won this game last year 2-1. It was a pivotal moment, I think, for that program as they kind of build and get a little bit stronger year after year. They hadn't won a conference game in over 2 years, and then they stunned their biggest rival on Thanksgiving Eve. I think that momentum continues. I think KU wins it again, and look out for Brady Penny in this matchup. All right, Stevenson versus Salem. Not a rivalry game, but will likely decide the KLAA East. And it's not even December 1st, which is wild to think about. So there's a lot at stake in this one. I'm taking Stevenson and their depth to win, and a bit of a chess match there between the two coaches on the bench. Stevenson gets the win 3-2. Rochester United and Stony Creek. Classic battle between the guys over there. And for your new viewers and listeners, check out my YouTube page for last year's OAA Media Day to kind of get the full backstory there on the other guys. But nonetheless, RU, I think, is better than people think. Maybe even better than they thought they were going to be this year as they kind of rebuild and retool some things. I'm a big Braden Buckler fan. He's off to a great start as a sophomore, leads the team in scoring. I don't know that that's enough, though, for a Stony Creek team that can play really fast. I'm going to take the Cougars here. I just think they're too much, 5-2. So Grosse Pointe South versus Liggett. I mentioned this is an important game for the Knights a few moments ago. You get to take on an MIHL opponent. Big game here. Big crowd potentially right there on the east side. So South ain't no pushover. If the Liggett hype is for real, then they win this game. So give me the Knights there on Thanksgiving Eve. Roll that into, again, Orchard Lake versus Brighton. A rivalry that's not a rivalry, but kind of is treated like a rivalry. Pretty interesting. These two teams, I think, have played on Thanksgiving Eve every year with the exception of COVID, going back to like 2013 or something. It's been over 11 years. Huge test, I think, for a young Brighton team. I think this is going to be one of those bumps along the road for a team with youth and growing pains. I think this is going to be a learning opportunity. Give me Julian Johnston and Will Keane. They take care of business. 4-2 Eaglets in that one. CC and Brother Rice, the granddaddy of them all. That's right, the biggest rivalry in Michigan high school hockey. Rice nearly knocked off CC last year, had them on the ropes, 4-0 in the first period. Guys like Roman Valaire, Nick Prisby, Evan Murphy, those guys remember that sour taste of defeat and desperately want to avenge that loss from a season ago. Warriors play inspired hockey. Keep things close. Make it interesting. I just don't think it's enough. Give me CC winning 4-3 in that one. Portage and Matawan. I'm told this is a raucous crowd in Southwest Michigan. Standing room only in Wings West. Win the first period and you win the game. I'm taking Portage to jump out to a 2-0 lead in this one. Takes the crowd out of it completely. and they roll to victory. I think I put 6-3, 5-2, something like that there on the blog. Uh, one more for you, a couple more for you here, but nonetheless, Trenton versus De La Salle, big MIHL matchup. I got no fancy breakdown, no fancy details, no nothing. Trenton gets the dub, 3-2 there on home ice. Novi, Northville, guaranteed to be a close game, regardless of what the rosters look like, regardless of what's on paper. 7 of the last 8 meetings in this one decided by 2 goals or fewer. My gut says Northville, but if Novi pulls this off and gets to 5-0, everyone's going to be talking about about first-year coach Anthony Leitz's bunch. Excuse me, sorry. So with that said, I just got to see it to believe it. I'm taking Northville to win 3-2. Next up, Grand Rapids Catholic Central goes to Grand Rapids Christian in what I'll call the Holy War at Eagles Ice Center there. The Cougars have won 6 consecutive meetings dating back to the 18-19 season. That ends tonight. I'm going with Josh Hooper and Brady Baysor to snap that streak. Eagles win 3-1. All right, that's it for the Wednesday night. Let's spill over into the weekend. We go to Friday. Cap City in need of a resume building win. They came close against Stevenson last week. They're going to catch someone soon. I just don't know when. Logic here says Cranbrook. My heart says Caps. Give me the Caps to stun the state. 3-2 win at Wallace Arena. How about that? Another big rivalry here. Brighton versus Heartland. A second look here at the Bulldogs on Thanksgiving weekend. A second loss, too, for the Bulldogs, I think. These two teams have flip-flopped roles from a season ago. Heartland, the ones now with experience, and Brighton now, obviously, the ones with a little more youth. I think the Eagles roll here. I'm going to take them 5-1 in a pretty impressive win. Romeo versus St. Clair Shores Unified. This is an interesting matchup. One I didn't have circled on my calendar until the Lakers kind of got out to the start that they did. A lot of buzz is starting to build around this team. Zach Del Monte, Will Young. They've got some guys that can play in a schedule that presents some opportunities for them to prove themselves. They played De La Salle pretty tough last week in defeat, even despite the 5-1 loss. Was close down to the wire there for a good chunk. They've got a couple more kicks at the can later in the schedule against teams like Traverse City Central, Midland Dow, Liggett, M1 United. If they are who we think they are, they handle business and they put the Bulldogs away. Lose? And that little seed of doubt remains in the back of our minds whether this is a legit team or not. So give me the Lakers here to take care of business and win 3-1. Clarkston, Forest Hills Central. That's the other matchup there in the Thanksgiving Invitational with Brighton and Heartland. I said it earlier, this feels like a get-right spot for Clarkston. I think, what do I have here? Oh, I think they actually thump my Rangers a little bit here and then follow it up with a strong showing against Heartland, bouncing back, feeling good about themselves again. I think they get the win here 5-2 over my Forest Hills Rangers. Ugh, that's hard to say. Marquette versus Houghton, a little college weekend series type action as these two teams play each other twice, Friday and Saturday, back-to-back nights. Sentinels with a chance to prove that they are the new kings of the North. And it starts with, oh, sorry. Let me back up. I got to do this justice. Here we go. Marquette versus Houghton, a little college weekend series type action as the two teams play each other twice on Friday and Saturday night. Sentinels with a chance to prove there's a new king of the North, and his name is not Jon Snow. It's senior goaltender Cole Kelly. Give me the Sentinels to steal a 2-1 win. There, that was better. Okay, Calumet versus Hancock. Staying in the UP here, another big rivalry. These two teams are separated by just 10 miles. And I don't know if anyone in the state plays more regular season games against each other than these two schools. Hancock swept Calumet in all 4 games last season. Copper Kings get some revenge, though. I think they take the over in this game. I'm expecting a lot of scoring. Give me Calumet 6-4 in that one. We're going to wrap things up here with a couple Saturday matchups. A lot of this was still up in the air with the Thanksgiving Classic, Thanksgiving Invitationals, a lot of two-game tournaments this weekend. So a lot of TBDs on the schedule for Saturday, but a couple matchups I wanted to highlight real quick. Alpena versus Caledonia. I love this Caledonia team, and I don't even know that much about them. I want to keep loving Caledonia too. So for that to happen, they got to beat a very good Alpena squad. Alpena, usual suspects are there. Gavin Winterstein, Garrett Hamp. They're getting it done and taking care of business. But I also like Clark Weir, Ethan Walker, Brody Misiak, that goalie Parker Schultz. I like him too. Like, Alpena is a force. So if Caledonia can prove that they are the real deal and beat Alpena, everyone's going to take notice. So for them to be real, I think they gotta win here. Now, Wildcats turn around and thump you, give you a hurting. Could be bye-bye to that number next to your name too. So there's a lot at stake here in this particular matchup. Did I even pick a winner in my write-up? I think I had to have taken Caledonia. I like them. I love them. I want to keep loving them. Give me Caledonia in that one. Okay, last matchup of rivalry weekend. Byron Center versus East Grand Rapids. West Side supremacy on the line. I've been telling people all preseason that EGR wasn't rebuilding. They were retooling and they were reloading, and they're for real. I posted on Instagram yesterday, actually. Be sure to check it out. That trio of James Albers, Oliver Owen, Brady Ross, they've combined for 27 points through the first 3 games of the season for the Pioneers. They got bit by the injury bug a little bit last week, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit, but that's okay. Next man up, right? Opportunity for some young guys to answer the bell. I'm sticking with my pick of the Pioneers to get that victory over BC. Give me them 3-2 in a tight one there. So, all right. If you had to ask me, Petey, I can only watch one game this weekend. What should it be? Well, that one's easy, right? CC and Rice. That's the only one. If you've not been to a CC Rice game, it is a must, absolute on your bucket list for Michigan high school hockey fans or hockey fans in general. That place has gotten it was packed the one year I went and has gotten progressively packed year over year over year to the point where they got to be breaking fire codes and stuff in that building because there's so many people now. Might have to move that game from the Kiefer rink over to the main arena there at USA. So just too many people in a tight space, but makes for one hell of an atmosphere. So that would obviously be, if you could watch one game this weekend, that's your one game. Now, if you ask me, Petey, I can only watch 2 games this weekend. What should that other game be? That was a tough decision, but I'd probably go with Marquette and Houghton. And the good thing about it is if you miss them on Friday, you can catch them again on Saturday. So how about that? Now, if you ask me, Petey, I can only watch 3 games this weekend. What's one more? I'm probably going to go with, very selfishly, Alpena and Caledonia. How about that? That's my short list. Those are the games that intrigue me the most among a list of games that intrigue me